Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 2015 SOCAN Annual General Meeting, which I'd officially like to call to order. As Andrew said, I'm Stan Meisner, and for the last 3 years, I've had the honor of being the president of SOCAN's Board of Directors. It's a rewarding and gratifying experience, and I appreciate the support I've had from our board and the SOCAN staff as we've all worked together on behalf of our songwriter, composer, and publisher members during the last term. We're in for an interesting and informative evening, but before we begin, I want to point out that we're streaming the meeting live on the internet for those who are only able to join us remotely. As well, this meeting is being recorded to be made available on the SOCAN website as an online video in English and in French in the coming weeks. I do want to point out that, unfortunately, we learned only a few hours ago that our scheduled special guest speaker, Serena Ryder, is under the weather and she won't be able to attend this evening. And while we would have loved to have heard from Serena, I'm delighted to say that at the last minute, the incredible Hawksley Workman has decided to step in, and we're sure that Hawksley will provide us with a great one-on-one conversation. We apologize for the change, but thanks for understanding. Serena, if you're watching, I hope you feel better, and I will read a little note that she wrote, and she says, "To my fellow SOCAN members, I was so looking forward to connecting with you all tonight. I've been sick in bed for 3 days and unable to function. As much as I would have loved to have been there with you this evening, my doctor advised I stay in bed until fully recovered. My best to you all, and I hope to see you all again soon. Serena Ryder." So we certainly hope that she gets better soon. So if you're watching, Serena, get better. Okay. We also hold events like this for our members in Montreal and in Vancouver, as well as one in LA on July 1st, so that we can be sure we get our message out to our members, who, as of just this week, now number more than 130,000. It's pretty incredible. As you can see by the image on the screen, the theme of tonight's AGM is transparency. Transparency is a distinguishing aspect of SOCAN, and we're proud to be one of the most transparent performing rights organizations in the world. Whether it's a member's ability to see which radio or television stations played their music, how many times and when, using our royalty calculator to see how much the performances might earn, or looking at your statement preview to see what your total royalties will be on the next payment date, SOCAN prides itself in being the only music rights organization in the world to make all of this information available to its members. Looking at our agenda, you can see that while we're here officially to review 2014, we'll also be reporting on where we are now and where we're headed. There's a fair amount to get through, so we'll try to keep things brief, but we will allow time for questions afterwards, so please make a note of any queries that you might have. As part of our 2014 review, I'll be providing highlights from the activities of SOCAN's Board of Directors over the last year, as well as reporting on the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. Then I'll pass things over to our CEO, Eric Baptiste, who will report on 2014 from a management and operational perspective. And following Eric's report, SOCAN's treasurer, Craig Horton, will report on the financial aspects of the year, which are laid out in much greater detail within SOCAN's 2014 financial statements. Printed copies are available for those of you here today, and a full commentary can be found within the 2014 financial report that's available on the SOCAN website. As this is an election year, we'll also have a representative from KPMG who acted as scrutineer in the Board of Directors election for the 2015-2018 term, who will officially declare the new Board of Directors elected. Then we'll hear from Jean-François Denis, President of the SOCAN Foundation, to tell us all the developments of the SOCAN Foundation in the last year. Then we'll wrap up with a Q&A, and when we're done, we're thrilled to have this one-on-one interview with Hawksley. I would like to point out that those of us here from SOCAN's executive and the Board of Directors are wearing these red lanyards so that you can easily identify us. If you have any questions afterward, please feel free to approach us. We don't bite. We'd be happy to answer, and we'll hear any questions or comments that you might have. As this is SOCAN's official AGM, we do have some specific business to take care of, and the first of these is to officially approve our agenda. So if I could get a motion, I can't even see anybody, but if I could get a motion for somebody to approve the agenda. Glenn, seconded by Ed Henderson. Thank you. Okay, next up is approving the minutes of last year's AGM, which was held in June in Montreal. So if I could get a motion from someone who was actually in attendance at last year's AGM, that would be great. So Earl, seconded by Jean-François. Awesome. Okay, moving right along. In 2014, highlights of the Board of Directors. In addition, hold on a second, got the wrong slide here. There we go. Over the last year, the SOCAN Board of Directors and its committees dedicated much time and energy doing things like monitoring and reviewing our 2014 budgets and forecasts, drafting the 2015 budget, managing SOCAN's investments and other financial activities, conducting a 360 evaluation of our CEO's performance. I can tell you he's doing a great job. Evaluating our own performance as directors, both at a board level and through a thorough peer assessment process, reviewing our distribution rules, overseeing our many member events, including this AGM, and our award ceremonies, as well as reviewing our communications, strategies, and policies. I was going to touch on the way our board works. As you may be aware, the SOCAN board works as a unit, as well as dividing our responsibilities into our various committees: executive governance, risk identification and management, tariff, licensing and distribution, and membership. So the things that we do, we sort of do within these committees. In addition, on behalf of the board, I represent SOCAN on the executive committee of CIAM, which is the International Creators Council within CSAC, which is the umbrella organization for all of the PROs in the world. CIAM, with its music creator representatives from the PROs and partner alliances of songwriter associations from around the world, has truly been able to be heard as the international voice of creators, as is evidenced by the Fair Trade Music project that we've endorsed. The traction that the Fair Trade Music Initiative is gaining internationally is really beginning to define the aspects of fairness and transparency necessary for a sustainable ecosystem for creators in the digital world. And while the specific criteria for transparency is still being discussed, I can tell you that SOCAN is already seen to excel in this area. Other highlights of our 2014 activities include celebrating the 25th Annual SOCAN Awards, at which we unveiled the SOCAN, the world's first music award that's also a musical instrument. That's it there on the screen. We've spent much time and effort transforming SOCAN's Montreal office in both preparation for its moving to its new premises in early 2015 and in some reorganization and staffing changes. The new offices are really quite incredible. We've seen a year of activity on the copyright front, both with the Copyright Board of Canada and the U.S. Department of Justice, who have been busy with actions that affect us as songwriters and publishers in the performing rights world. The Copyright Board issued rulings on Tariff 22D regarding audiovisual works on the internet, which had a very positive impact for SOCAN. These tariffs, in addition to other parts of Tariff 22, brought in over $12 million in 2014. As a result, throughout the year, our Tariff Licensing and Distribution Committee, as well as our board, approved a new audiovisual distribution pool to facilitate distributing these new AV revenues. In the US, we've been closely monitoring the situation with ASCAP and BMI, who have to work within the decades-old consent decrees, which, along with recent court decisions, have been creating problems with regard to publishers' abilities to withdraw certain rights and negotiate direct deals. This is a continually evolving situation, so while we continue to investigate the potential impact on SOCAN, we're also examining many opportunities that would enable us to thrive in this changing landscape. Throughout 2014, SOCAN also further developed what we call our BEST computer system to deal with the explosive data requirements necessary to track the billions of performances in the digital world. The first parts of the system, the financial and issue tracking modules, were deployed in 2014, and we expect that the entire system will be operational by the end of 2016. All in all, it's been a very active and transformative 2014, and through our efforts and many changes, we continue to shine as a leading performing rights organization. I'd now also like to briefly touch on the work of the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame, which SOCAN acquired back in 2012. I have the pleasure of serving as chair of the Hall of Fame's board of directors, so I'll be speaking on behalf of the organization. The mandate of the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame is to honor and celebrate Canadian songwriters and those who have dedicated their lives to the legacy of music and to educate the public about these achievements. The mandate aligns well with SOCAN's objectives, and SOCAN's support of the Hall of Fame ensures that the CSHF will be able to continue to honor the achievements of Anglophone and Francophone songwriters and to celebrate Canada's rich and unique musical heritage for many years to come. The Hall of Fame is run as a separate organization with its own board of directors, as well as a management team of manager Lisa Gallia and SOCAN's CFO, David Wood. Here are some highlights of the CSHF in 2014. We developed and went live with a new content-rich online presence. the redesigned bilingual website showcases footage from our past 7 induction ceremonies with more than 300 video clips, audio tracks, and song lyrics for inducted songs, and provides background on all the inductees. The Hall of Fame also developed Educating Through Music, a national online education program using the music of the CSHF inductees to teach students in a variety of subjects. The program will feature English and French language lesson plans for teachers to use in the classroom with multimedia content, student activities and exercises, as well as information about careers in the music industry. Of course, the CSHF has taken great efforts to ensure that all content on both the Hall of Fame and the education websites are fully licensed for use. Finally, in 2014, in collaboration with the CBC and Radio-Canada, the CSHF developed a song induction program that honors and celebrates newly inducted songs with original new videos of contemporary artists performing cover versions of songs being inducted. The series, called Covered Classics, was launched in February 2015 and has so far this year already inducted 7 Canadian classics. Well, that's all I have to report on for now. So on behalf of SOCAN and the Hall of Fame boards, as you can see, it's been quite an active year. Now I will turn things over to our CEO, Eric Baptiste. Eric?
Thank you very much, Stan. My pleasure to be with you tonight to share some high-level results. I'll be able to be brief once again because this year as well we've published all our main findings, results, numbers, and comments online. Our annual report is now up at socanannualreport.ca. You can find it from the SOCAN website, of course. So all the details are there. But a few highlights that I believe we need to share with you. It's been a great year for SOCAN, 2014. You remember that 2013 was already an amazing year. It was a record year in all metrics, and we've exceeded that once again in 2014. The slide that you have in front of you shows big numbers and one that we appreciate as a small one. So the big numbers are the ones that relate to collections. So total collections in 2014 were $299.5 million. We missed the 300 million mark by $500,000, but it's a goal for next year's. It's a record high. SOCAN has never collected as much money. It comes from strong domestic collections, but also $55.5 million coming from international sources. That's also a record. Both numbers are 8% more than we collected the past year. Internationally, our main markets are the United States, of course, biggest market for SOCAN members, but then it's France, the UK, Germany, a few European countries, and a newcomer in the past few years, Brazil, that is a strong now source of revenue for our members. The internet collections are still small, 21.3 million, but increasing significantly, as Stan mentioned, through new agreements and new tariffs that the corporate board has approved. So, of course, 525% increase is good, but 25.3, we will work very, very, very hard to grow that number further. But having said that, if we compare to other organizations around the world, we're well placed there as well. A fantastic number is 9.5. You remember that last year we were very proud to tell you that our net cost, that is the amount of money that we spend compared to the amount of money we collect, minus other revenue, like financial revenue, was 12.9, and we were already quite impressed. But in 2014, we hit 9.5, the first time in the history of SOCAN or management of rights, performing rights in Canada, that we've been able to do it for under 10%. It's thanks to the great work of our teams, the strong collections, but also we've been kind of fortunate in having our investments perform very well. So I would be surprised to see 9.5 again for 2015 when we report in Vancouver next year, but you never know. Our goal is to be around the 10 to 11% mark in the long run. We believe that's the right price point for the management of your rights. You can see the trends on the slide as well. It's been growing, except in 2011 and 12 when we had this complication with the decision of the Supreme Court to remove your right to get money from downloads. It may be covered in the Treasurer's report. We reached 130,000 members, thanks to more than 5,000 members that joined SOCAN this year. It's an amazingly dynamic organization, and we're very proud of the fantastic talent that we represent. Many number ones around the world. We're always proud to celebrate that. Turning quickly to licensing, because without music licensing, there wouldn't be any collections and any revenue to distribute to you. And our licensing department has been very active in 2014. We've been able to add 3,700 businesses to the network of businesses licensed by SOCAN, so it's more than 125,000 now. It's probably approaching 130 as well. It's kind of strange how the two numbers are the same. It's completely coincidental that we have about 130,000 members and about 130,000 licensed businesses. But it's a great footprint. We collected domestically $241.6 million, which is 18 million more than in 2013, and we had a target of 225, so the licensing department did a fantastic job. Fantastic job also in making available e-reporting tools for our licensees, so eSOCAN, the ability for our licensees to interface with us using web properties or mobile applications is now a big success. We've seen more than 300% increase in the use of eSOCAN. I would like to mention as well the license to play, the little logo you see there, which is actually a sticker that many businesses have proudly posted on their premises. We have distributed 30,000 of those stickers, and we've also, if you were attending that event a few weeks ago, we also had a special partnership with CMW, Canadian Music Week, to have all the venues licensed and proudly sharing this news with all the audience, licensed to play, and it was something that I believe has been noticed by other festivals around the country.